So I haven't been really on the architects kind of mock-ups and case study for a little bit. So uh, gonna change that today. Have a little bit of an update for you on that. And so today we're gonna talk a little bit more about basically like the brand experience of um, how a brand and a marketing experience should be handled, how a customer should go through a brand, because it's not really just a an experience about how like the colors are looking, how the logo is made, um, what the customer who the customer is. It really is, how does your customer kind of interact with your business, and how they really kind of connect with you. So I find it really helpful to kind of have a blueprint, for lack of a better term, uh, of how they interact with your business, and how they they come into your business, how they funnel through. This is partially a marketing funnel, but it's also just, again, how how they come to your business, how they get attracted to your business, as well as how they make purchases, and then how you retain that customer as well. And so it's really important how to go past the purchasing experience and go into a like a post experience for your customer. How do you like after they purchase something from you, how do you still remain connected to them? How do you still make sure they have a positive experience with you, um, and still really like your business, for lack of a better term? And so, and still have a good rapport with you, so that they can either recommend you or so that they can buy more things from you. It really just depends on what your initiative is. Um, and because you might have different initiatives, and uh, like with an architecture firm, you might not be asked to do much um, post kind of sales with them. But if you can get a lot of referrals from that um, initial sale, that kind of broadens your market. It broadens just who is recommending you, how you're getting more um, testimonials on your behalf. And then again, more marketing opportunities possibly for you in the future, as far as PR, or um, just more aspects of saying, cool, I want to work with them because they were possibly featured somewhere, or something like that. So we're gonna go into a more into the slide deck, and go through a kind of like the pre process, and then also the post process, post purchasing process, um, for your business, and seeing how you can kind of keep updating things like that. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna go do a kind of a pre-purchase experience. Okay, so again, and I also apologize. I'm using a new mouse, so it might my keyboard and whatnot might be a little laggy today. Um, so we're gonna do we're gonna focus kind of on how maybe Simon would initially get into a deal with the architects, and see kind of how they would see them. Um, I'm thinking, so with some of my knowledge of the demographic of Simon, if we age him up a little bit, as far as like if you're 35 or so, you might see them on more of a digital means. You also might see them through. Uh, I still look, I mean, I'm kind of in that bracket as far as like age wise. So I would still look at them through possibly some print, like magazines and whatnot, but I would only probably look at them on the cover. Um, so if they had any big projects like that, that's what I would do. But again, I would probably look on them for more on social media and say like, "Oh, that's a cool house looking house or something." Um, let's do. Okay, so this is the initial. Okay, and I'm just gonna make some notes here, and then we'll kind of go back and um, hone down like what exactly we really think that they'll do. Again, if we're currently looking at a an older audience, we can probably say that it's safe to say that they're probably getting them more through um, again newspapers or print products, because through the game we are seeing a lot of like archived newspaper clippings or something like that. It's very traditional print journalism, that things are coming through and being told as far as news. So it's very possible that, and even I think Anne Babbage also said like, okay, I don't like this email. I don't like this email process. So very like, let's say they're using traditional print media. Um, Simon would be more digital. I'll put social because that's probably what would happen, as well as um, video. Video is very big in this kind of area. Um, I'll also say photo, but it's more video. Video is like kind of key at this point. Um, if I mean, we've had whole discussions about TikTok and I mean YouTube is probably a big one, and then also Spotify, Netflix, even like Hulu and Prime. Like those have been like big things that have been uh, trying to absorb a lot of media attention. So just video in general. Let's see. What else would probably be good? Um, like I said, cover worthy. Just because we don't want to go looking for things. We want it to be very easy to find, um, easy to see kind of things. So again, that's why social is so easy. It goes to one place and one place only, and it doesn't make you find things. Um, so again, like I say testimonials, if I can spell, sorry guys. Um, but as I've been saying, like with doing this, like do case studies, like showing case studies of um, what they've done. It's not just a testimonial of saying, oh, like I really liked this product because X, Y, and Z. It's taking them through the process and showing them exactly what happened and what was the transition from before and after. Um, they show them the results of different things. So this would be more like results and we would do word of mouth. Um, okay. Again, this is kind of like just like the brainstorming thing of like, how are you actually like gaining their attention? Um, what do they need? Um, what kind of, we might also put in like some problems here, um, because they might just say, oh, I have, um, you know, I'm looking for a house, or I inherited some things, or um, let's say that they inherited slash, I'll say also won like maybe a lottery or something. Or I mean, they could earn. Um, they want to upgrade their house, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that because again, they want to upgrade the estate, because again, they could do land or they could do the house itself. So that's kind of some of their problems. Um, they're just trying to be comfortable, uh, maybe private, and yeah, we'll leave it at that and see kind of how our the rest of ours go. Um, we'll put the next experience like as kind of like a reach out. Like, do they reach for a consultation? Do they go to a website? Um, that kind of thing. And so, do they call? Um, and so I could see maybe with like Herbert, it would be, he seems to be like wanting to transition to email. So like again, it could be more digital, and that could be like what they are wanting. So like we could do like digital forms, email. We could do just going to the website to see more. Reaching out could mean going, I would say going, I, let's, okay, so if it was an architect, I would think that you would probably end up having to go to the actual, you would have to talk to them. You would have to have a meeting before doing anything. So we're going to put that on the second one because you'll probably want to do a lot more research first and then go to a meeting. So you probably consult the place. You would probably talk specifics, needs slash wants. Nope, that's not what I wanted either. You would with the reach out, you would probably want, again, some more case studies. Slash photos slash like your portfolio, to show off, to say like, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I want to do, this is usually what my client expects from me, as far as like the feeling and how, what everything manifests into. They want to probably know sorry, I know I'm kind of like going in between like these two, because like they are two separate things. Do not get them confused. Like, if I were to research someone, that's not the initial aspect of things. This is me actually considering them to do work. And then meeting with them is actually saying, cool, like I'm actually even more serious and I like step away from signing a contract. Or I could be. Uh, and this would probably be more of like the purchasing stage, um, slash, I'm going to put contract. Um, so this is probably where you would end up saying, cool, like, you would end up having pricing, involvement, like who's involved, um, stipulations, like as far as how long it would take, what you would do, who's reliable for what, um, like any safety aspects in that case, because if they did have like a lot of privacy or, um, aspects, they would probably want to make sure that everything was above board. Um, the meeting would probably pertain to like what is researched, um, a little bit more like research about the property. Um, my very short time that I had worked for an architect, they wanted to know like, okay, like does this property have any meaning behind it? What is the background of it? What is it going to be used for? What is it going to be used for? Or how are we going to upgrade it, and how is that going to be of use for it? Um, and how do we want to keep like kind of the history behind it? Um, I will put like history, just because of like historic meaning is a thing that you probably would, um, make a concern about. A lot of places do have historical societies and they do keep track of that. And some are even like attached to grants, to upkeep the property and whatnot. Uh, it just depends on the place, it depends on the person. Uh, it might just help with like maintaining the property, um, as like an outside source of income. So, um, again, reaching out, you probably would also want to, um, start formulating like, maybe not a lot, but like the documents. Um, so if you had deeds already, or if you were going to purchase anything, um, you would want to make sure that like all the documents were in order. If you had, again, any historic, documentation, or even if that was, saying like, cool, like my place was in a movie, or it was in the land run, or it was in a historic event, and it was along those in that area. You would want to make sure that they had documentation of, like, okay, how can I validate this? Um, and so you might do that when reaching out. You might do that like for the meeting as well. It really would just depend on. Um, I'll put that in kind of both if I can. That's not what I wanted. I don't know what happened. Um, Again, new mouse, new things. I don't know if I'm going to like this mouse going forward, but I like the feel of it. It's just not wanting to do what I tell it. I'll put that with that as well. Um, okay, so you might also do in the meeting, you might also do like a walkthrough here. Um, but you would definitely do a walkthrough like probably right before the purchasing or the contract, just to make sure, like, okay, is like all the sound, is all like, is the ideas that I'm having maybe good, um, as far as for the architect and for yourself, just to make sure, again, like, will this actually help you? Uh, is this the right person for the job? Um, and so, again, kind of, I would probably put it in the meeting. See if you can do it in the meeting. Kind of see if they can do like a 30-minute walkthrough of the property or something if you have it already. Um, or like, I don't necessarily like the term doing free work as far as like doing a mock-up, but also, again, just seeing like, a lot of people provide like photos of the property that they have, and then so that the architects can get ideas. They might not necessarily show the ideas and have mock-ups beforehand, but they will say like, cool, like let's do a walkthrough and see uh, what we're actually dealing with besides photos, because photos can be misleading. Uh, not necessarily intentionally, but just because they're photos. Um, it's just the angles, it's light, it's all that kind of stuff. Um, Again, reaching out, you still might end up saying, you still might have like a little bit of correspondence. Um, just to see like kind of if your personalities mesh. Like, you don't want to be working with someone that you don't necessarily like talking to, or your personality doesn't work with. Even if they seem to do good work, like that's not a good relationship to build on, especially if you want to build um, more referrals or more testimonials or anything like that. And so it's just a little bit easier just to um, have a little bit of correspondence just to see like, okay, do I mesh with this person? I'll actually see how to spell correspondence. Sorry, guys. Vibes. um, okay. Sorry, guys. I also don't like it when like one letter on Google Docs decides to like not go over. It's a thing. Okay. So this has gone down a little bit. And so we're going to go to our next part and how we're retaining them. So post experience. Okay, so we're going to say this is the building stage. This is the closing stage. We'll kind of do like a 6 month and a 1 year. Okay, so building for that kind for the post during the post experience and during the building phase, you would definitely want to do like regular updates. You would want to probably maybe like do photos, just to document like again that time lapse, and seeing how like things are progressing. Maybe videos. Those are always good for both you and for maybe if you want to do social media or creating a video otherwise. That would be really good for marketing opportunities there. And then let's see, we would also want to maybe do, and you can also give these to PR people. So you would also probably want to reach out to PR, or like competitions, if it's going to be kind of done in a certain time, or if it's a big community thing, seeing how it might impact them. Kind of like with Blueprints, they opened opened up the manor for a schoolhouse. So that would be a big PR aspect that would end up bringing in a lot of publicity, that people could come in and like view the schoolhouses and the rooms and things like that. That would be a very good marketing opportunity and put them in a good light. So you would probably want to, again, say that while it's being built, or while it's being kind of distributed. So let's see. Let's do and again, you would want to provide those videos or those photos or anything else like that, or let a photographer come in and do that from a news aspect. Okay, and then what else would you want to do? You would also want to like log exactly what you're using for the build. Again, my very short stint with working with an architect, you definitely need to know like what products they are using, like with paint, with building materials, with products, so that if anything goes wrong, then the people on the estate or on the project, after the project is done, they can go and get the exact thing that they have built within the process and copy it, so that especially if it's like a corporate company or something like that, it's really important for them to maintain their brand, maintain their office space, in the same particular fashion. So it's really important to maintain those logs. Especially like in kind of like how Blueprints keeps those those logs within the caverns and whatnot. Again, it's really important to say, cool, like we found this, or we didn't find this, or this was really helpful and this was really not, and we did this on the build for this day. It's really important to make sure those logs are maintained and who was kind of in that process. Again, so also maintaining uh, I say inventory slash staff. You want to know who's working for you, who's working with you on this. Um, Again, so that you can say you go to this person for this type of problem. If it's like plumbing or if it's electrical, they did this project. Not the architect did this with the intent to outsource it, but at the same time, they trusted them, and so they need to know the person who actually owns the property and who's doing the work or who is requesting the work being done can also have that knowledge and where to go to see, like, okay, who did this, to see if they want to continue using them or if they have any questions in the future. Okay, closing. Um, you probably want to have an event, I would think. If it's a big thing, even if it's like a personal thing, you might want to have like a housewarming. I mean, that's still something that's very normal. Um, so, housewarming slash open opening. Um, oh, I didn't know if that was one word. Cool. Learn something new every day, I guess. Um, and so yeah, you'll probably want to do something so that you can like celebrate that it's closed, or that the project is finished. Um, and it's very community drawing. Um, Even if again it's like a housewarming and it's maybe just like, okay, you have friends and family or something like that, that's still a really good like referral source, um, as well as uh, friends. uh, that's really good for saying, cool, like I can refer them to um, colleagues or something like that, or maybe colleagues is your branch into corporate projects. So that's really good. Um, and if you can kind of be there and work with that, then that's great. Um, Again, if you have any um, PR kind of press, you probably want to know, okay, how can we show off this great project that we've done? Um, so you would do photos or quotes that are really readily available um, for them. You also probably want to, let's see, um, I would think this would be a good personal touch, like maybe making a video for like the transition. Um, just because, I see a lot of people do like housewarming gifts. But sending a video of like, okay, how did we like change your house and stuff like that, I think would be a really good housewarming gift, if you were doing it that kind of way. Um, Again, if I can utilize Google Slides, um, it would kind of end up being, in my mind, kind of like, um, kind of like a wedding video a little bit. I mean, not like exactly the same vein, but um, you know, you would still end up having like a good, you could still have a good vibe. You could still have like, oh, like this is awesome, like how we like transitioned from this, um, from before to after, um, and just leave like a good, heartfelt, like warm, fuzzy kind of feeling, if that's what you're wanting to have them feel as a brand. Um, so 6 months, um, again, you might see if you might still reach out to like your PR press, um, especially if it's a like community or corporate thing, um, and see about the community impact. Again, with like blueprints, like how did this impact the school? Obviously, the school was founded from the fundraising efforts of Mount Holly's benefactors. Um, I know I'm not saying that right. Um, One of the ancestors of Mount Holly fundraised for that schoolhouse. So just seeing the community impact and seeing again like how is it doing it after 6 months? Like, you know, is it still happening? Um, where is the where is everything? Um, you might see about um, yeah, you might do like community stories about it. Um, See like more in depth about the owner. Um, like I know if you go watch House Hunters, they always do like a follow up. Um, they kind of phrase it as like the closing, but it's probably a couple months afterwards. Um, just for when everybody can come home or something. Um, and so just having that like, okay, like how is this actually like bene benefici benefacting, sorry, I can talk. um the renovations and whatnot of everything that's been going on. And so you might end up saying like, you also might do things like the like product impact. Um, and so that might be environmentally um, private, like how like you might see statistics about, how has this changed anything, or has this changed anything? Um, has Did they put solar panels like on their house compared to the old one, and has this like decreased their savings, or increased their savings with the house, or um, little things like that? And it might be a longer thing, and so you might do this also with the year long, but you might also start with the 6 months to see that long term impact. Um, okay, and so for 1 year, you might just see like, again, like how you might do like a marketing follow up, is probably what I would call it. And just have like a conversation with them, like invite them to lunch and say like, hey, it's been a year since we've done built your estate. We've built your estate. We've updated it. Um, can I take you out to lunch and say and ask you, how you're enjoying the property? How, like, what would you change about your process? Making sure that you know you still were comfortable throughout it. What would we need to do differently? Um, Seeing, you know, how do you keep up with us? Um, and maybe see like, okay, where are where are they keeping up with you? Because I've kept up with different people in different ways after a year. I've unsubscribed from email lists, but I've still followed them on social media. And, or like, if we have a physical copy of like letters or anything, like maybe I'm not on that anymore because I want to save paper. But I'm still on their email list because I still want to know what they're doing. Um, so again, what formats are of media are you keeping up with us on? Um, so just having, a casual lunch, um, and making it more like one-on-ones with maybe a year for this project. Um, let's see. You might still see a little bit more statistics. Um, Again, how is this estate like impacting the community? How is multiple of your projects impacting, whether that be products or um, materials or anything like that? And then let's see, what else would you probably do? Um, you would also probably want to see, in this case, probably like, you would still probably want to do more like press, but probably more, you might end up doing like more like compilations or something. Um, Maybe lists, including this product or project, and saying, okay, like, or uh, maybe this is where the materials come in, um, or the environment, or something like that, or the community. So you can really kind of make this more of an evergreen kind of piece if it's like a year out. Um, and so and what I mean by evergreen is that it can be used pretty much whenever. So it doesn't have to be a year. It can be like 5 years down the road, or 3 years, or 2 years, or whatever. It doesn't have a necessarily end date, but you do want it to be somewhat timely, both in terms of timely for when you kind of give the idea for this press, really either release or story idea that you have, um, or maybe you're compiling it with like a new and upcoming house that you're doing, but you're wanting to tie it in with these past houses, to say like, cool, I've done multiple forms of this kind of house and this is what I'm known for. Maybe that's what you're doing, but just kind of making it more evergreen rather than um, just about the one specific house, uh, which you probably would have done in the beginning when you started the project. So, um, and this would really kind of follow into like, okay, getting more eyes again, and it would circle back onto, okay, how do you get more clients? How do you bring in more people? And that's really helpful when you're kind of making that experience of like, okay, how do you keep regurgitating that experience for different people? Um, and making it really like a full circle kind of thing. Um, and making people kind of come back to you. Again, it might, you probably won't end up having like a lot of like repeat people come back as like as an architect. But if they can still say, cool, this is who we use, this is why we use them, and this is like how the process went, and them giving it to other people, that kind of keeps them going. Um, Keeps them in contact with other properties, keeps them in contact with other um, organizations that could be helpful to keep them in business, such as like again the historical societies and whatnot. Um, Again, this is kind of a bulleted list of kind of how I would do it. This is not necessarily a exhaustive list. I would probably again go through and probably be a little bit more. Um, I would end up making this more precise, and I probably will make this more precise, like by the end of this project, of saying, cool, the closing event will be very detailed and saying like, cool, we'll have hot dogs, we'll have it'll be around this time of year, it'll be for such and such amount of people, um, and you can adapt it however you need to for different things, and that goes the same for um, the pre-experience, where maybe okay, uh, the initial them initially finding them saying like, okay, this is very cold and I do not know this person. um, they saw this building that they made, that this architect made, that Blueprints Architects made on a magazine cover, because it was on residential homes and it was amazing and it was really private. They had a lot of greenery. It was very nature filled, um, but it was still very modern once you got back there. It was still very um, kind of up to date, but it was still very private and it was very relaxing once you got back in there. And it wasn't very uninviting. It wasn't like it's a decrepit manor house that everybody kind of laughs at and says, oh, this is the haunted house, like at the end of the street. Stuff like that. Uh, you know, and so I'm, I know I'm kind of making a joke out of it, but nonetheless, it's like, oh, okay. And then they make different ways of showing that house, of saying, cool, it's on social media, it's on with video, it's with photos, it's with an actual press piece on traditional media. And so, again, it's on a cover of a magazine, but they kind of cross platformed it so that it could be very widespread. It can go to Simon's audience, but still have that traditional aspect of that Herbert would really like, and whatnot. So maybe it went to the local community and whatnot too. So, um, because they knew it as the haunted house, but they now know it's like really nice and, just really well kept for privacy, because that's what the owners wanted. Um, so again, this is just kind of like how I kind of start it. Again, these can be very adaptable as far as like how you end up doing them. I would just put like more specifics. Again, create one for Simon, create one for Herbert. And when I end up making the kind of deck for this at the very end, I'll probably end up making this more like a story element of saying, cool, this is how Simon's found Blueprints Architects. This is how he reached out. This is how he met with them. And this is how he purchased with them. I'll go through each specific step. More in a story format so it can be more real rather than just a bunch of bullet points that only make sense to me. And that you don't have to keep on watching this video for. But again, it's just kind of, you can just cater it to your own and make sure that like that experience goes towards your audience in a very specific way rather than, and so that you can, again, talk to your audience very soundly and very specifically. So, hopefully, this all helps. Again, I hope that everybody will find some knowledge in this if they don't really kind of understand it before watching this video. And again, if you can cycle through it a little bit, like, and make it more circular of an experience, then like keep doing that. Like, make it so that more people like just keep coming back to the same things, like, and keep wanting to see those things. It makes it a lot easier. And it means that, like, you know, people are attracted to different things with it. And you can easily track those metrics to see where they're wanting to experience you. So, I'm going to end it there, but I really hope you guys kind of found some insight into this. And if you need some more help with this, feel free to drop a comment, subscribe, kind of leave a like or dislike, and see if we need to make any changes with this. And yeah, I hope to see you guys soon, and hopefully you guys just keep on watching the blueprints and playing, and hopefully you like it. All right, bye guys.